now that Ili and Nasrallah had at last arrived. Well, thank you all for coming. We had a book reading at Octopus bookstore about a month ago, and Ili was the person who actually reviewed the book, as he did on the internet. His reviews on my website, ulterior.com. And we had quite a good crowd. Actually, the lady in charge counted the numbers, and she told me there were either 34 or 35 people. So I kind of...
5 left, so probably 40. 5 had to leave.
Oh, because there was no space. That's right, they were very crowded. Could be. So I didn't expect that this would be a big meeting because so many people have already been there. Some of you here are really here for support because you already were there and you already have copies of the book, one way or another. But I appreciate that you actually came, because the whole idea for me to, the whole reason why I started doing this is because I have an ulterior motive. And the ulterior motive is to talk about the taboo issues that are not allowed to be discussed in the Middle East, such as democracy and the oppression of women in the Islamic culture, and there's so many debates about this. And I thought, you know, now that I've retired, before I go, I need to do something useful. So I wrote my first book, and it was received fairly well, although of course as a first book it had its faults as usual. And one lady who teaches at St. Paul University said, "I knew it was your first attempt." I said, "How did you know that?" She said, "Because there was too much sex in it." So taking a cue from her, I kind of almost eliminated that. And of course that will upset the men so much now, because there's no sex in the second book. So they will not want to read the book. The second book is called Two Boys from Aden College. Aden College is the school where I went with Dr. Abdullah Nasher, who is sitting here in the front row. Dr. Nasher is the past ambassador of Yemen to Canada, and we've known each other for about 40 years or something like that. He's a surgeon, and he's retired now, and all he does is play golf.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. And he beats me at it as well, even though he's only been playing golf for half the time that I've been playing golf. But that's what happens when you're an ambassador. You have so much free time. So when I was a doctor, I had to do all my medical work and be on call and run 2 departments and 2 hospitals, and at the same time kind of write articles and eventually write books. Okay, I will, there are numerous reviews actually of the book on my website, dialoguewithdiversity.com. So I invite you to go there and actually read them in total. They're nearly all positive, but there are also 1 or 2 negative ones, and one of them is by someone who could not come today. The kind of the comme ci comme ça review, not so positive. And I'll actually read it to you, because I need to be honest, and also I need to raise issues, you know, through the comments of that person, who's a dear friend, but she was brave enough to say what she wanted. It's exactly how it should be. But we have 2 people here. We could have asked several people to kind of talk about the book, but I will do 2 at the moment. And then I'm going to try something different later on, but that will be a surprise later on. So let's start with my friend Tamara. Tamara is a young lady who just finished her training at University of Ottawa, degree, and she wants to be in the media, and she actually is going, it has been trained partly by me to be a radio host, or do you say hostess? I'm not sure. Lioness, but you always say host. So, and she's going to take over the Dialogue Diversity radio show for the next month while I'm away. And to her credit, when I was away, I got an email from someone in Amsterdam. And he said in the email that he was listening to her all the way from Amsterdam, because you can hear the show on the internet. And he said that she was so good that he advised me to retire and hand over the show to Tamara. So because of that, I'm going to hand over this microphone to Tamara, who will tell you what she thinks of the book.